and it's got a mount on the bottom for an infrared attachment to it. Straight away saw this thing zip up out of it's like obviously it's the horizon, but it's like it zips upwardly. So straight away I knew that was completely something not what that scope can pick up is unbelievable.
Yeah, incredible.
But also we have Springfield, like a nuclear pellet facility, so I have been capturing things over that way.
Interesting.
And I've been triangulating if it's actually in some way related.
Sort of features and functions, and I'm sorry, I'm just watching the footage back again. That thing's going so fast.
So I did it. I'm not a mathematician, but I roughly did an estimation, and it's roughly, I think I may be wrong, 450 mile an hour.
The following is a conversation with Nick Rhodes. Now, Nick contacted me a little while ago saying he had some interesting footage and what did I think of it, and he gave me some great context around that footage. Now, he uses a PULSAR 450LFR, which is a scope that essentially goes on a rifle, and he's used that and captured some really awesome footage. And we'll get into who Nick is shortly, his background and how he has his setup and what he managed to capture, and we'll go through that footage as well. So let's jump straight in. Nick, first of all, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate your time. And thanks again also for sending the footage over and all the context that goes along with it. Just to give people a bit of an idea that people often send me footage and I'll just get, look, I saw this and then no other context around it. So then we've got to have this sort of conversation backwards and forwards. Well, tell me a bit more. And, you were great to just give a really, really detailed sort of account and context around the footage. Before we jump into all of that, are you able to just give us a bit of an idea of who you are and where your interest started in this subject?
Basically, I'm an illustrator day to day. But my main role, I've always been in illustrating, but it's basically in the music industry. It's just panned out that way. I studied fine art at university, and I ran my own t-shirt business and illustration company. And then I went into teaching roughly around about 2008. So I've been a FE teacher of graphics, illustration. Now I'm at a university and I'm a print technician part of the week. I kind of came out of teaching, but I also do one day a week illustration, teaching HE students. So my interest in UFOs or UAPs comes from my dad. I grew up in a Christian type of environment, but my dad wasn't. He was completely open-minded. So I often say this to my friends. I would go to church on the Sunday and then come home in the afternoon and then get the world vision from my dad. He opened my mind to everything. So later on in my life, I found out he was a member of Bufora. I found his membership card and things, and he's since passed away. He's 3 years ago passed away, and then we found a lot of his interest into UFOs then. But I've always had it from a really young age through my dad. I'm completely open-minded to everything, so I think that comes from my dad. So it all stemmed from my dad.
Yeah.
I always remember the book that George Adamski wrote, seeing the front cover and thinking, what the hell is that on the front cover? And because I also, a big part of me is I'm a massive aircraft geek. Love everything to do with aircraft. Always have done. I'm from Manchester, Denton, Manchester, and there's basically it's the fly path to Manchester Airport. So I grew up with that and seeing planes coming in and out, and anything different I would easily spot. And a big thing in my family is that I can spot, I can listen to an aircraft and tell you what it is without even looking at it. So I'm that much of a geek. I know my aircraft through and through. yeah, so anything that isn't an aircraft, I'm right on it like a hawk. So I've always had that UFO interest because of that side of things.
Yeah. When did it start that you? I mean, you've got some decent tech, really, haven't you, to
Yeah.
start, to take imagery of some of these objects. Where did that start? When did you start going, you know what, I'm going to get a decent camera and decent lens or whatever, or a decent setup and start filming? What was the catalyst for that? When did that start?
That was last year, that, believe it or not. I mean, I've had this interest for, God, wow, 30 years, 40 years, I've always had the scopes, and things like that. And I'd say I kind of came out, I completely missed the New York Times interview, that in 2017, completely missed that. So it wasn't in my radar then. It wasn't to say that I wasn't looking for it. I just literally missed it by maybe busy in my life, really, day-to-day life. So more recently, it's probably in the last year, but a couple of years after my dad passed away, I think I was reading a lot of his insights. When I found a really great little booklet that he wrote back in the 50s. It's an amazing book. He hand wrote articles that he'd found in papers, and it's a good little book I'm going to pass on to my own children of insights, what he thought about it, of UFOs. So maybe that kind of kind of got me back onto in the community by revisiting these really old stories, and
Yeah.
especially because a lot of them are UK based as well. So it was really good to see and look up these places, and it was actually just YouTubing one night. So, well, this is where my algorithm was really good, because I often say the bad. My algorithm posted up a guy called John Bell in Florida, and his channel just blew my mind. He picked up a scope, which I have now got. It's all stems from John, so I'm going to give him a big shout out, because it was his channel, and also just going on Twitter and emailing him, messaging him on Twitter. He was really open to talk about what tech he's got and what he's doing. So I'm going to give him a shout. He's called I've lost it. Florida Real UFO on YouTube. So
Cool. We'll link to it as well, so people can go and check him out.
he's capturing some amazing things, and it just piqued my interest there. Like, how is he able to see these things? So I just DM'd him on Twitter, and I'm used to doing that type of thing. You just fire out messages, and then in the music industry, I'm always doing that, like knocking on people's doors to get jobs and things like that, illustration things. So my motto in life is literally, if you don't ask, you don't get. So
yeah,
he was really open to it, and really open what tech he uses, and it went from there. So I actually I couldn't afford one brand new, because they're like £1,300 brand new in this country. But he told me, just look on eBay. So I actually got outbid 3 times for a scope by literally £1 each time. So roughly around May, June last year, I bid on one, and I thought, I'm just going to go for it. Be a bit daft. I didn't tell my wife this one. So I thought, I'm going to have a limit, and if I don't hit it, I'm not going to do it. And put the bid in, like literally 5 seconds to go, and got it. So that opened up the tech side of things, thanks to John, totally.
So what camera was this? What scope?
Yeah, so
Oh, let's have a look.
It's a PULSAR LFR 450. Now, he was quite specific of me getting this one, because of there's a certain sensor in it that's really, really good. There's more modern versions of this scope, but he said, don't go for it. Go for this version, because the sensor's really good on it. So I picked this up for £300, and It's mainly used for, put it a little bit closer, mainly for rifle shooting animals, game. And it's got a mount on the bottom for the gun. So it also has, this is it kind of like a standard thing, but it also has an infrared attachment to it. So it just clips on really easily.
And so you picked this up for about what, £350, which is what, I don't know, $400-500 maybe.
Yeah, £300, yeah. And it actually came from a rifle shop in. I didn't know until after. When you're just paying and it comes up. So I often wonder if they think I might. Do they know what I'm going to use this for?
Well, so pretty much straight away then, because this footage that you sent over to me was June, I think you said June 24th, 2024.
Yeah.
So pretty much as soon as you got it, you started picking things up. Am I right in thinking that?
Literally within 3 days of me using it, I was picking up things in the sky. I've got several videos that. This is one thing I kind of find quite hard. Is you can't really consult anyone easily to verify that is it could be a piece of space junk or a meteor, but there are certain videos I've got that I can compare that it's not a meteor, it's not a shooting star. There's certain things in them. I mean, especially this video, it's completely not something from outer space. I would say like a meteor, or its trajectory is not.
Well, I'm going to stick it on the screen so that people can see it whilst we're talking. Are you able to just sort of talk through what was your setup? So did you have a tripod? Are you looking at a specific point in the sky? Are you wide open? Are you nice and close into a certain spot in the sky? Was there anything that caught your eye? Or were you just aiming and hoping that something would come in?
My back garden, I'm pretty privileged. So I've got a really wide open, expansive sky, and the front garden is really good. But there's a street lamp that kind of, I'm in suburbia, so you're going to get this light. But in the back garden, I'm just pretty black, and I do have a set of trees right behind me. They do mask my view a little bit, but not a lot. But it's completely, very dark. And bear in mind, I'm only a mile out of the town centre, and the sky is pretty dark here, really. Especially with this scope, you can see everything. So yeah, that night I'd say it's probably 2 weeks into actually using it. I would just basically scan the sky, I was looking at Jupiter quite a lot, just seeing the moons, different hours of the night. I'd go out and put it up and look, and I generally just follow, getting used to seeing what's in the sky. So you often see Starlink satellites, and then things that are not a Starlink satellite. Yeah. So it's like learning, new learning. You seeing what you can see with it. So that night I was literally just scanning around, and weirdly, the times I would see things, I don't know if this is a thing, but it'd be generally any time after 11 o'clock. I've captured quite a lot of things between a certain period of time. So maybe it's because I'm actually out at that time, I don't know. But generally on this video, it was 20 past 11. So it's fairly late at night, really. But in summer, you have to wait till that time of night for it to be truly dark anyway. So, and it was a really lovely warm night, so it was good just sitting out, chilling out, looking at the stars. And I actually just panned to the left down, and this was the trees that you see in the videos of my next door neighbour's trees, or like a bush, and that is literally I'm looking at Preston town centre. Yeah. So the light does get a little bright. So I'm just panning right down because that's pretty much east. It's literally a few degrees to the southeast. But straight away saw this thing zip up out of it's like obviously it's the horizon, but it's like it zips upwardly. So straight away I knew that was completely something not um, real, no sound. Um, so I panned as much as I could, thankfully right across the sky. And the only reason why I stopped is because my extension kitchen feet were literally beyond that. I quickly got up and tried to look, could not see it with my own eye. Not at all. No sound, no visual with the human eye anyway.
So we're seeing in the footage, we're seeing there's a couple of parts. Obviously, it's quite. I think this one's 5 minutes that you've sent me, and there's a couple of times where there are two objects that are sort of moving in quite seem to be moving quite quickly in
Yeah.
amongst the stars and the static, and then these two objects,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's one. I mean, there's quite a few in this one video objects that are moving in strange directions and weird trajectories.
That I think they, without again, this is kind of going back to that point, without looking at specific feeds. I know that I think the Starlink satellites, and they're predominantly, when you do hit up a scope lights, you see them through 20, 30 an hour going from predominantly west to east. So obviously in this video I'm doing it east to west, so I'm just basically panning across the sky, just genuinely looking at stars. I'm fascinated at looking at the stars, and what that scope can pick up is unbelievable.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, so the dots that you do see, they're predominantly satellites, and this is again, it's like kind of learning about how fastly they move and how slowly they move. And also you kind of get a pattern, what area of the sky they are in, and what, like maybe anomalous things, maybe not.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Incredible that people are out there just filming with their. I mean, this is the thing. People keep asking me, what's the best tech I can get? What's the best technology? What's the best software? And they're spending £1,000 on a mobile phone, and you've got a scope there for 300 quid. It's like if you're serious about it and you really want to, and you've got the money to spend £1,000 on a camera phone, essentially, just save up or jump on eBay and see what's available. If you've got the cash to, then something like this is. I did an interview with a guy called Ezra Kelderman. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that. If not, I definitely advise checking it out. He's the project manager at the Galileo project at Harvard. And he's, for anyone listening that's not watched it, it's certainly worth watching because he talks through some of the tech that he uses, and albeit a lot of that is quite expensive stuff, it still gives you an idea of what works and what sort of features and functions. And I'm sorry, I'm just watching the footage back again. That thing's going so fast.
So I did it. I'm no mathematician, but I roughly did an estimation, and it's roughly, I think I may be wrong, 450 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Because basically I'm just doing it from the area of sky it's going across, rough estimation, and how long I filmed it for. 450 mile an hour with no sound.
Yeah.
And you can't see it. As I say, I know my aircraft. That if a jet was flying by at 450 mile an hour, you'd hear it.
Yeah.
You'd hear it all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your interview with him was really, really. That's the type of thing I love because we get gatekeepers on in this subject massively, and so when someone's really open like that to open gates and knowledge, I'm in that game when I'm in the university. That's one of the reasons why I'm in teaching is sharing knowledge. Yeah. It's empowering because I've always had this one. I'm like a music side. I'm like a punk that if I can't afford to do it, I'm going to find a way I can.
Yeah.
If I don't have the facilities, I'm going to try and make the way it will work for me. So I'm a bit of a dog with a bone when I have a thing to get to. So
yeah, I'm the same. It's just trying to find good information, isn't it? It's trying to find
Yeah,
good sources of information and not stuff that's like, I'll let you see it, but it's behind a paywall and sign
yeah,
up to my Patreon before I let you see it. It's like, well, if you've got it,
mm,
just show it to people, just
yeah,
it's not about it's not about making money or you have to sign up and putting something behind a paywall. I hate it. I really do. I think
right,
that was when I first started this sort of platform. The one of the points of the mission statement was that nothing's ever going to be behind a paywall. And, albeit, YouTube's got a 5 second advert, where you've got to click, skip, or whatever. But, in terms of like, you haven't got to pay for something, anyone can have it. You haven't got to be rich or wealthy or have, spare cash to sort of chuck into something. You can just go onto YouTube, which is free, and you can just watch it and get the information for yourself. You can go onto Substack and it's all free
yeah,
and you can get that information there. I think it's really, really important. I think if you're serious about researching this subject and
mm,
you've got a platform, I think it feels wrong to put it behind a paywall because it's like, well, only certain people can know the information, only certain people can have, pieces of the
and
puzzle. And
it's like gatekeeping,
yeah,
keeping of that knowledge, and it should be shared. Like it, you know,
yeah, I completely agree. Like I get with some people, like with Ezra, for example, his data, they're very keen for it to be peer reviewed first, and I understand that side of it because it
mm,
gives it that legitimacy, where somebody's going to say you're wrong about that, you've misidentified whatever. Their process is if they let something out that turns out to be incorrect, then all of their work is going to be have that sort of cloud
mm,
over it that, oh well, they're inaccurate about that, so what else have they been
mm,
inaccurate about? So I totally get that. Look, we've got this massive amount of data. We want scientists to go through it. We want to do peer-reviewed papers so that when we do put it out, we can say this is solid and we stand behind it. And
yeah,
it's going to be really difficult to dispute that. And that makes perfect sense. Withholding it for a period of time.
mm.
But there's I can't see any other reason aside from that.
It makes more sense to have more eyes on the ground. I mean, I love those Podesta brothers.
Yeah, yeah,
They're another set of guys that I love listening to and passionate about what they're doing and
yeah,
making it accessible and it's making it the normal thing, not like a normal thing to do. Like aircraft spotting. Like, geez, that world's massive. So there's no difference. It's just maybe it's the only thing with UFOs and UAPs with this scope. It's at night time.
mm,
When you're a parent like I am and you work, it's like putting a slog in.
yeah,
Also, this thing is in this country is frustrating because most nights that I'm in the mood to do it, I'll go outside and it's grey. Where
yeah,
where I am situated, I'm between two British aerospace um, manufacturing places. So there's Salisbury and then there's Walton. But also we have Springfield, like a nuclear pellet facility. So I have been capturing things over that way, and I've
interesting.
been triangulating if it's actually in some way related. It was a spate of like 3 days last week that I've got footage, and I've like, tracked aircraft on um, apps and things like that. And the things I were capturing weren't on any apps, so it'd be good to hear other people if they saw that type of thing. When you're doing
Yeah,
it on your own, and I like
yeah.
your podcast and things like that, especially in England, I find it hard to kind of. I feel like I'm on my own doing this
Yeah,
type
yeah, yeah.
to
I
share it
know,
out.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I think that's a big part of what I'm doing is just to try and get people in the UK,
Mm,
especially. I mean, to be fair, at the moment, I'd say that the majority of my audience really is in America, but actually, there's probably about 30% there in the UK, and it's
right.
growing, which is a great sign. And a lot of the contact that I'm having is from people in the UK going, look, I filmed this. And so to try and put more voices out from people in the UK, especially
Mm,
when we had that strange happenings at RAF Lakenheath and
yeah.
Maidenhall and stuff, there's stuff happening in the UK and there's footage from all parts of.
Do you know I was frustrated on that one because the people who were filming it, I said to my wife, I'm sat here with the scope, which I could go down and sort that footage out. But
See
it's
what we've got.
literally
Yeah.
5-6 hours drive from where I live. So
Yeah. It's always the way though, isn't it? The what you've got with you at the time to try and capture something is their day-to-day stuff is broad daylight aircraft, isn't it?
Yeah.
The plane spotters, and it's seeing what, I see them where I am. We've got bases up here, and you see people at the roadside, and they slow the roads down because people are there with their ladders and they've got their long,
Yeah. Are you
telescopic lenses.
whereabouts are you based?
I'm in Lincolnshire, so I'm
Right. Oddington, near
yeah, we've got Waddington, we've got
yeah. Cam-
Coningsby, we've got what else have we got? A few others up here. I mean, the whole play, all of Lincolnshire is
yeah.
RAF bases, isn't it?
See,
And
I've
with
travelled that in my past, going to air shows. Like,
yeah,
I know that area really well.
yeah, it's amazing, especially up here because we've got the red arrows that shoot
Yeah.
around and they practice and stuff, and you often see them. It's normalized, for us. And I'm driving along and might say to my daughter, "Oh, look, there's red arrows," and they're doing crazy things. But I suppose if you're from other parts of the country where you very rarely see them, you'd be like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." Whereas we're like, "Oh, that's cool,"
Yeah.
and then we carry on chatting.
Yeah, I'm like that with the Eurofighters here because the bill just literally down the road. My two kids are amazed by them. I am, but I would drive my kids to when they were younger. As you know, use your dad to try and get them asleep. I would drive them round, and I worked out there was a journey from my house to Waterton to the end of the runway. And by the time I got there, they fell asleep, and weirdly, they stayed asleep while fighter jets were taking off. So the thing to do as a dad.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. I think we're catching up in the UK. But I think this is, a bit of a call to action for getting out there and spending time and just look
Yeah.
up in the garden. We're so focused, aren't we, on Spotify and Instagram and
Mm.
TikTok and all of the different platforms. We're just looking down so much, and which is cool. It's good that we're intrigued by these things on our phone. But actually, you can spend 5 minutes in the garden and have a look on a clear sky, and you see some interesting things.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, another thing is more recently the like the doorbell cameras,
Yeah,
the sensors on those cameras at night, they don't have to be put on the door. So just hinting that you can use them in other ways, and they're really cheap. Like
yeah,
I'd say 150 quid. So
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
again, it's
And
that way. If you don't have it and knowing that knowledge, going out and just thinking about like a doorbell camera. It's
mm,
got a really great sensor on it that it
yeah,
could be employed that way.
yeah, absolutely.
That's
No, I
where
completely agree.
Ezra's way, when he was saying about what you can and can't do. I really enjoyed that last video you did.
Yeah. Yeah, people need to, I think, be aware that stuff's available and stuff's getting cheaper. And I was the same. It wasn't that long ago when I assumed that to get a telescope that was digital that could track was going to be thousands. So it's no point even looking for it because I haven't got that kind of money. I've got kids, got bills to pay and mortgage and all that sort of stuff. And the spare money at the end of the month for me is very minimal once all the bills have been paid. So, I mean, I was really fortunate. I had just when you were talking about sort of grey skies and stuff, is
Mm.
I have the same issue because I've had this one. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah,
I
you
got
did.
sent this. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I got randomly contacted by this company saying, "Look, we've got this product. Would you like to have it and review it and tell people what you think about it? You can be honest." And I'd never done these sort of product reviews anymore. I wasn't really about that, but it was like I really want one of these, and I didn't realize they were sort of affordable. And this one's in the under £500 range, affordable for some people, I guess, not everybody. But in terms of like what you assume that price would be, the price point would be for something like that would be thousands, and here it is, and it's sort of ticks all of the boxes that I want. It's
Mm.
tracking. It can zoom right in and connects to your iPhone, so it's simple to use. You haven't got to be some,
Yeah,
astrophysicist or whatever to figure it out. And getting up and looking at objects in the sky was amazing. Again, as you say, you've got to have a clear sky to be able to really pick stuff up. And if it's cloudy, you're sort of wasting your time a little bit.
mm.
But I found the same. Like every time I thought, right, I'm going to get out there, and then it's grey sky. I was like, oh, okay. And then the nights when it's a really clear sky is the night that I'm really tired. I'm about to go to bed. I let the dogs out in the garden, have a little look up, and I go, "Oh wow, it's really clear sky." But it is
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning, and I
Yeah.
probably should go to bed.
Also,
Um,
when you do have a clear sky, it's like addictive to thinking it's time ticking on, and you're
mm,
like 12:30 at night, and one, and then you're getting up at 6 in the morning
yeah,
with the kids getting up. So
yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? What we
mm,
need, and the beauty is that this stuff is getting cheaper and the technology is getting better.
mm,
And I think it won't be too long before we've got some piece of kit specifically designed
Yeah.
for UFO, UAP, photography, imagery, data collection. No, something specifically made and affordable that you can just put in your garden or put on your roof or on your balcony or wherever in your garden. It's waterproof and you can just leave it there, monitoring the sky for the night, tracking whatever moves, flagging up all of those things that move, sort of zooming in, and then in the morning or whatever, you can review what you've got and see what's there. And I think if somebody makes something that can do that affordable, the UFO market is huge. It's
Mm.
huge now and it's growing every day. They're going to be quids in if they do that. So,
But there
you
was
know,
a,
anyone listening?
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a guy, I'm sure he's on the Good Trouble show, and I think I often listen to podcasts when I'm walking, so I don't actually see the video side of things on podcasts when I'm walking, obviously. But there was one guy, I'm sure, on there that he was trying to do like an all-in-one box type of thing. I'm sure he was on that. Recently it was as well.
Yeah, I can't remember now. I don't know if it's Sky 24 or Sky 2, I can't remember. There is a couple of companies that are out there, I think, working on something that you can put together, but they all seem quite technical. And
Mm.
something like this thing, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great, and I'm not, promoting them.
Yeah.
They literally just gave me a free one, said say what you like, and that was the condition of me sort of talking about it was that if I don't like it, I'll be honest. And they said, yeah, that's fine. We trust that product. But and it is good, but it is that where you have to, you really have to monitor it, and it doesn't sort of flag stuff and remind you for later that something was picked up at 2:30 in the morning. You've got to stay there. It's not,
Mm.
you can't leave it out in the garden all night. So you really need something that's kind of like that, but just has that couple of little add-ons and something you could leave out for a long period of time. But
That's
it's
what I'd
clearly
say.
affordable.
Yeah, that's why I'd say the limitation on that scope is that it's
Yeah,
only where you're looking, and if it was that wide, it'd be
yeah,
amazing. You
yeah.
know?
Well, hopefully there's some
Yeah,
tech companies out there watching this maybe that think, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Because the tech is out there, we can do tracking, even mobile phones can track, and we've got telescopes, they've been around for a long time. We've got smart telescopes, they've been around for a long time.
yeah.
So stick it all together and just make it waterproof and then bingo, I'll buy one.
No, yeah. If it's affordable, yeah.
Yeah, affordable, absolutely. Awesome. Look, Nick, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks very much for
Happy to share.
making contact, man, and showing me the footage and for talking to me today. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no,
In your lunch break as well. Nice one.
you're right.
Yeah. Take care of yourself and stay in touch.
Okay, well do.
Cheers, man. Bye
Yeah.
now.